Well, Gator fans, it is official. The Florida Gators are national champions again. After a remarkable season, a run that not many expected, Florida capped off their 2025 tournament journey with a title. We're going to break down how this team, who was picked to finish sixth in the SEC, turned into a national powerhouse. They weren't the favorites through part of the season, but they proved that they were the team to beat. So, back in October, Florida's basketball program had some question marks. After a tough year, this squad wasn't exactly, the top on everybody's radar. Case in point, the fact that they were picked to finish sixth in the SEC. I mean, that's crazy looking back that was the consensus. But as the season progressed, it was clear that this team was different. And by March, Florida was rolling. They earned one of the 4 number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament after really an unexpectedly strong regular season. And I think that it had more to do with chemistry than talent. It was about heart. It was about the belief in themselves and each other. And I think that this group kind of carried a chip on their shoulder. They had something to prove. And at the center of all of that was a starting 5 that came together and defined the team's success. Walter Clayton Jr., Alex Condon, Ruben Chinilu, Elijah Martin, Will Richard, alongside contributors like Denzel Aberdeen and Thomas Haug and Micah Hanglotten. They all played pivotal roles in getting Florida to the mountaintop, right? Walton Clayton Jr. was a transfer from Iona. He quickly made his mark. He emerged as the tournament MVP. Watching him win that in real time was so cool. His leadership and clutch shooting was essential to the Gators' run. Think about the fact that he shot over 30 points in the Elite Eight and in the Final Four. It's nuts. And, in the championship game against Houston, though, he didn't play well in the first half. He had, I believe, no points in the first half, which is kind of wild. And I think we were all kind of like, okay, when is he going to turn it on? When is this going to happen? But everybody else around him stepped up as well. And I think that he had so many moments that kind of defined who this Gator squad is over the course of the NCAA tournament. And Condon proved that grit can make you a star, right? His presence on both sides of the ball, grabbing boards, rejecting shots, setting the tone throughout the tournament. And I don't know that we saw his best games in the tournament, but his hustle and his heart really carried us at times. And, he did a great job stifling Houston's bigs. That was a huge factor in Florida's success. Ruben Chinilu was an absolute beast in the paint. His 5 blocks in the final game alone told you all you need to know about his impact. When you have a guy like Ruben swatting shots and controlling the glass, opponents are in trouble. And then you have Elijah Martin, transfer from FAU, who played that edge. And he wasn't just a role player. He was a difference maker for this team. His defensive prowess, his leadership, his timely scoring were key throughout the tournament and definitely in the comeback win over Houston. And then you got Will Richard, who, the one who stuck with Coach Golden from the start. His commitment to the program, his steadiness in big moments. I just think his all-around play really anchored this team. I've said in previous videos that there were points in probably each one of these tournament games where it felt like Will Richard was the only one 100% in it. Just little moments. He just did not quit. And I really feel like his loyalty to the logo on the front was kind of the glue that held everything together. And then we don't want to forget about Denzel Aberdeen, Thomas Haug, who contributed in key spots. Aberdeen's defense, Haug's smart play kept the Gators moving forward when things got tough. Florida beat Houston 73-71. Gators came back from a 12-point deficit in the second half because they never stopped believing. They kept pushing, they kept fighting, and when it mattered most, they got the job done. Guys, being in San Antonio was one of the coolest things I've ever done. My husband and I decided at 8 o'clock on Sunday night that shoot, we got to do this. We have to be there. So grabbed our flights, grabbed a hotel. We packed until about 12:15 at night, Sunday night. We had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to get to the airport because we had a 5:45 flight. I got so little sleep, it's not even funny. Got on the flight, had a connecting flight from Dallas to San Antonio, got touchdown just in time to eat lunch, and go meet up with so many of you guys. It was so cool to see just how well Florida traveled, how pumped all the fans were. It was such an awesome environment. I saw so much orange and blue everywhere heading into the stadium. I mean, guys, we led for 1 minute and 3 seconds of that entire game. And I don't know how you were feeling, but I think because I had a heart attack every other game in the tournament, I was uncharacteristically calm for myself, because I just kept thinking, okay, we've seen this movie before. We've seen this movie before. We can do this. And it got done. And it was just such a cool moment. I'm so glad I was there to experience it with so many of you. Gator Nation is just always so impressive on the road. And, it was just special. Florida is now a 3-time national champion, 2006, 2007, and 2025. And for those of you guys who were in school when I was during those 06, 07 runs, you remember what that feels like. And I am sure that you see the similarities between those teams and this team. And, I feel so excited for all of those students that are on campus, because now you know what we felt all of those years ago. And I just think when your programs are winning, it does something for your entire campus. It's just electric. And now there's an entirely new generation of students who understands what that means. And we're kind of bound together by that. And, even moments like seeing Torian Green win this, he knows he is now 3-time basketball champion because he's on this coaching staff. And Al Horford came back, saw Walter Hodges. It just, the threads that bind, right? It was such a cool experience. And this isn't just about basketball. This is a culmination of a team that came together under Coach Todd Golden's leadership. He built a squad that trusted each other and that rose to the occasion. He coached with confidence. He made incredible adjustments. He put his players in positions to succeed. I saw a tweet today, and it's so accurate. Like, the most mind-blowing part of this entire run is the fact that Houston was the best defensive team in the country. And that's not necessarily how Florida was thinking they were going to win this game, right? We thought that this was going to be, a game in the 80s. And if that was the case, then it absolutely favored Florida. When it was sitting in mid 50s, I was thinking, shoot, this is the kind of game Houston wanted, not the kind of game that Florida wanted. And I really think when what Florida was trying to do wasn't working, they just kind of were like, all right, screw it. Then we're going to beat them at their own game. We're going to beat them defensively. And that's what they did. And this team just has so many ways to beat you. They might prefer to beat you by just shooting a ton of points and outscoring you. But when they can't do that, they're well-rounded enough that they can beat you defensively. And I just think that is one of the things that makes this team so special. And, before I go on, guys, if you are looking for national championship gear, which, listen, my cart is full of all the championship gear that all the people in my house want, make sure that you are ordering from Alumni Hall. They have a store in Gainesville on Archer. You can go right in there. I talked to them today. They are just unpacking boxes as fast as they possibly can, restocking shelves because this stuff is flying. But they also have it online. You can have it shipped to your door. You'll get it in just a couple days. Tons of cool merch. I love that. If you can see in the ad we've got, there's a blue shirt that's kind of like a little bit faded blue color. I love it. It's so cool. Get your gear. Go to Alumni Hall. Listen, we got to stock up, right? This doesn't happen all that often. But 3 titles, pretty dang impressive. And as we celebrate this victory, I can't help but forget what happened after the 2006 basketball championship. I watched that game at my husband Eric's house. Wasn't my husband at the time. He had a condo right on University Avenue, directly across the street from the O'Connell Center. We watched it in his front yard, which is such a very college student thing to do. And as the seconds ticked down on the clock, we watched all of the doors on University Avenue begin to swing open and people pour into the streets. The police had blocked off University right in front of the president's house. And we all kind of headed down to Midtown. And, we had several players that were watching it at my husband's house, but we kept running into more and they kept saying to each other, we want this. We want this feeling. We want this. And I really strongly believe, and I think pretty much anybody involved with those titles, those years believes that run by the basketball team sparked something special. And I really think it was the catalyst for Florida winning their 2006 national championship. And, by By the end of January 2007, Urban Meyer's football team was lifting a national championship trophy too. Winning begets winning. Now, in 2025, Florida football is on the rise again. Billy Napier heads into year 4 with a roster full of his guys. The future is bright, and the DJ Lagway era is fully, it's fully begun at this point. And think about what the atmosphere on campus is going to be like this fall. This championship has renewed the championship mentality in Gainesville, a fan base that's been hungry for more, a student body that now knows what it feels like to win. Winning is contagious. This team showed us the power of belief and of chemistry and of grit. The Gators didn't just win this championship. They reminded the entire college basketball world what Florida basketball is capable of. And if you think that that's where the story is going to end, think again. The foundation is set for even more greatness with this program. You can feel it building. With Coach Golden at the helm, with a roster full of players that know what it takes to win, and with a fan base that is ready for more, the future is bright. And just like in 2006, Florida basketball has lit a spark. And it doesn't just have to be with basketball either. DJ Lagway is the quarterback of the future. The Gators are primed for a new wave of greatness across all sports. I'm going to say it again. Winning begets winning. It would not shock me if we see an uptake of winning on Florida's campus. But let's enjoy this moment. Let's remember the fight and the hustle and the resilience that this really defines this national championship run. We need to celebrate Walter Clayton Jr. and Condon and Chinelu and Martin and Richards and Aberdeen and Haug and everybody else, Hanglin. These guys put it all on the line, and they brought another title home to Gainesville. I really think there are bright days ahead in Gainesville. I really think winning begets winning, and I think this could be just the beginning. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel because we'll have more content headed your way. And don't forget, alumnihall.com for all your national championship gear. You know you need it just as much as I do. Talk to you soon.